Under raging storm clouds, a lone figure stands silhouetted against the ancient walls of Castle Ravenloft. Count Strahd von Zarvich stares down a sheer cliff at the village below. A cold, bitter wind spins dead leaves about him, billowing his cape in the darkness. Lightning splits the clouds overhead, casting stark white light across him. Strahd turns to the sky, revealing the angular muscles of his face and hands. He has a look of power and of madness. His once handsome face is contorted by a tragedy darker than the night itself. Rumbling thunder pounds the castle spires. The wind's howling increases as Strahd turns his gaze back to the village. Far below, yet not beyond his keen eyesight, a party of adventurers has just entered his domain. Strahd's face forms a twisted smile as his dark plan unfolds. He knew they were coming, and he knows why they came, all according to his plan. He, the master of Ravenloft, will attend to them. Another lightning flash rips through the darkness, its thunder echoing through the castle's towers. But Strahd is gone. Only the howling of the wind, or perhaps a lone wolf, fills the midnight air. The master of Ravenloft is having guests for dinner, and you are invited.
I am the ancient. My beginnings are lost in the darkness of the past. I am not dead, nor am I alive. I am undead forever.
Pass not these portals, ye foolish mortals.
Welcome to our
That video gets me every time. That is so cool.
Dude, it was. You did a great job.
Well, thank you. Yeah, tonight we're looking at the original Ravenloft module. Here's my original copy, if I can get it to look good up there.
Yes, stop the glare.
But I'm going to be looking at my copy from our Silver Anniversary Edition.
Ooh.
Because it's newer.
It's pretty.
And I'm not as worried about it falling apart as my original. But we're going to start by...
Didn't you get the book, too? The newest one?
Yeah, the new 5th edition book.
I did. I have several versions of Ravenloft. I have House of Strahd, and I have the Curse of Strahd. And we could talk about those. I don't have them with me right now, but we could talk about them after.
Yeah, I thought you would have had those out too.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I decided to just go with the original module itself. Now, you guys can see that really good?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to scroll down here to the lettering and see if you can actually read the words that are on the page.
Well, not me.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, with the glasses on. I don't think anybody would see it.
I'm gonna put glasses on under this. That's a good idea.
That's okay. I'm gonna be reading some here. So, before we get into that though, any comments on this cover, guys?
Oh my gosh, it's just
aside from the fact
perfect.
that used to be your backdrop on the computer like forever.
I know, right? He is obsessed with this module. Don't let him fool you. He is obsessed.
I'm not trying to fool anyone. I am obsessed with this module. So, any other comments on this?
Oh, on the cover, it's freaking awesome.
I always thought so. I love the artwork.
Strahd is just such an imposing antagonist, I swear.
Looks like Spinetix is in the house. Welcome, Spinetix. Welcome, Lucas.
Welcome.
Hey, Lordly.
Well, you're just in time. I'm gonna start going over the module here.
You missed the awesome intro though, so you have to rewatch it. It's so cool.
Oh
my gosh, yes.
Oh, you want me to play the intro again?
No. You can watch it in the replay.
You know what? I can play it. Yeah, I can play it at the end of the video though too, if you guys want.
Okay, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
let's see. While I'm looking at the module, you guys, if you guys could keep an eye on the chat and say hello to anybody who shows up, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, well, I haven't been, like I said, I never really.
Smaller, so I have to look at the chat.
Let's see here.
So while I'm in here scrolling down, I can't see anything but this screen. Okay.
No, it's fine. I just have a hard time with the tech because it goes right over the whole screen, so I can't see nothing.
Okay. Well, this adventure is by Tracy and Laura Hickman, who, believe it or not, are a couple of Mormons.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I relate.
Well,
I
the
guess.
SCing represent.
But I just thought it was so neat that they put this together and in such a classic style of the old, like almost like straight out of the Dracula movie from 1931 or 37, I think. That we go watch, and we're going to be taking a look at this tomorrow night, actually, on Fridays from the Hills. So that should be fun. This is going to be my recommendation for the week too. This module here. So. All right, so let's start here. Ravenloft.
Well, it is one of the cooler vampire modules that I've seen, at least.
As far as I'm concerned, it's my favorite. Anyway, let me read this bit here. Ravenloft is a classic Gothic horror story. Many mysteries surround Strahd, his castle Ravenloft, and the lands of Barovia. After entering Barovia, the PCs are trapped by a deadly fog. Their adventure can run in any direction, culminating in a fantastic vampire hunt. The dark forests of Barovia are filled with wolves and other creatures, making travel there quite unsafe. In a clearing in the, I know it says Fallock Woods, but I like to call it the Slavic Woods because that sounds better, lies a gypsy camp. Only Madame Eva and her troop pass in and out of Barovia. There are rumors that Strahd gave Madame Eva a potion that neutralizes the fog, but no one has ever actually seen the potion. It is well known that Madame Eva foretells the future with surprising accuracy. The village of Barovia is a sad place now. Most of the shops have been forced to close. The night and its creatures belong to Strahd. When the sun sets, the people of Barovia barricade their homes, trembling in fear. Each night the attacks get worse. The Burgomaster's mansion is the center of most attacks. For some reason, Strahd is after Irina Koliana, the Burgomaster's adopted daughter. Since the Burgomaster was killed and his mansion's great holy symbol stolen, Irina is without protection. On the outskirts of the village sits a church. Only the constant prayers of the priest keep it safe at night. Far above the village sits Castle Ravenloft, Strahd's home and fortress. Every night, thousands of bats fly out of the castle's towers to feed. It is said that sometimes Strahd flies with them. Certainly, Barovia will never be safe until all the evil in his castle is destroyed. No one knows what hides within the castle. Ancient tales tell of dungeons and catacombs deep under the castle. Other stories recall the great halls, treasures, and glory of Ravenloft centuries ago. Undoubtedly, Strahd has installed numerous deadly traps since then. Now, I really, really enjoy this little intro that they have in here. What do you guys think?
I've definitely played that version of this module.
How about you, Jake?
He seems to be in
Are you frozen?
I think I'm experiencing technical difficulties.
Oh, okay. So what do you think of that intro? Did you hear it?
But regardless, this...
I think you need
yeah,
to
I heard you. The intro, really good, very atmospheric, I'd like to say.
I think so. And Lucas, go ahead and tell your mom we said hi back. Yeah, you're really
Eli in the chat.
Yeah. Jake, you might want to go in and out again because you're really dropping in and out.
You're breaking up, son.
Yeah, we can hardly hear you.
I gotcha.
All right, so we can wait.
Anyways, I like how this is just one intro to this module. Actually,
yes, this is true. Hello, Winter Willow. Welcome. We're going over this This Ravenloft module here, my favorite one from AD&D First Edition.
I like that. Meowdy.
Or
Meowdy,
from
meowdy,
any
meowdy,
edition.
meowdy. I think I'm going to do that from now on instead of howdy.
Meowdy.
Meowdy, 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 meowdy.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, Jake's having all sorts of problems tonight.
That's fine.
He just rearranged his room so his setup looks a lot better.
It really does.
He hasn't figured it out.
Anyways, I think you've run that particular beginning for us once or twice.
Yep.
For anybody who does not know, I have probably played this module at least 20 times.
Yes, I've run it. I used to run it so often, I had it memorized. Okay, so Jake, how you doing there? Sounds like you're locked in a little better.
Yeah, I think so.
So, what was your full assessment on the intro there, sir?
Yeah.
Bleh.
I think it fixed, but I could be wrong. But anyway.
You sound good.
As building off what I heard Tiger say, I've played this 2 or 3 times myself, but
Wow, yeah,
it goes away.
It says the page is unresponsive.
Winter Willis says, I'd like to convert that module to Cortex or Fate or GURPS. I have not played any of those games except for one time I did
Everything's
solo adventure.
frozen.
Well, Jake is having some problems, so we're going to move on here a little bit while he gets his stuff together.
Hello?
In the intro that I made, I read this quote here from Strahd. I am the ancient. My beginnings are lost in the darkness of the past. I am not dead, nor am I alive. I am undead forever. I really like that line. That sums up in just a few little verses exactly everything Strahd is. And he sees himself that way. Of course, then it goes into Dungeon Master information. But I really like this part here where it goes over telling you how to play Strahd and some of the things that he can do. And I love this pick right here.
Creepy glowing eyes.
Basically, you're supposed to play Strahd like a player character.
Yes.
And they give you these 3 methods for him to attack. He can attack as a single PC for 5 melee rounds and then leave. And you can do these at random, or you could plan them out. And sometimes I like to do a little of both. Strahd calls 10 to 15 Strahd zombies to attack the party. And we'll talk about Strahd zombies later. They're pretty cool. All the zombies must attack at the same time in the same place. I usually do that in the chapel. Strahd calls 3 to 12 warg wolves
or
to
the forest.
All the wolves must attack at the same time in the same place. I like to do that in the forest. That makes the most sense, but yeah. And then when playing Strahd, above all, keep these 3 things in mind. Strahd chooses when he attacks. Strahd is supposed to be a genius. Play him as one. Whenever he is aware of the PC's positions, he is allowed to make an attack how and where he wants. His attacks must be timed to be most advantageous to him. To do that, Strahd must move around during the adventure. However, he can always be found in the place determined in Fortunes of Ravenloft. It is your responsibility to see that the vampire uses his abilities to his greatest advantage. Strahd knows when to withdraw. He knows when he is over his head. If he is losing a battle, he becomes gaseous, polymorphs into a wolf or bat, and/or summons the other creatures to guard his retreat. Strahd's attacks depend on his goals. There is a reason why Strahd lured the PCs into his little kingdom. The reason is determined in Fortunes of Ravenloft. Strahd's plans for achieving his goals are listed with his goals. So I'll leave that up for a bit, and I'm going to put my icon on so while I'm reading, I don't look silly. Welcome, Carolyn.
Rex Freestyle Pack.
Welcome, Rex. Good to see you all here tonight. Okay. Any thoughts on how to play Strahd, guys?
Dude, you have never played Strahd the same. I played this module 20 times, as I said, at least. And I don't think there's ever been a second time you played in the same way, ever. I mean, I know the module in its base value is the same, but this module is so versatile that every time you played, you swear it was a different module. It really is that different.
Well, that's, I think, has a lot to do with the Fortress of Ravenloft. This was also the first module, really. I mean, I know they had some before that did this, but I think this is the first one that really focused on the main antagonist moving around during the adventure instead of
you really feel like
him in
he's
a
a
room.
real character and he's breathing down your neck sometimes. It's pretty cool, actually.
And I try to present him that way. So, Jake, what do you think? I've played this module a few times. Hey, yeah, we had the heartbeat in the intro.
Oh.
The heavy breathing. So, no thoughts?
Max has no thoughts in his brain.
Or are you just having sound trouble still?
Who, me?
Yeah, sir.
You didn't answer.
I'm pretty sure I understand what the problem was. My Steam was trying to activate in the background, and I thought I closed it, so it was gumming up my CPU usage.
Gotcha. So it's cool now?
I think it's cool.
Okay.
I closed it out, so I hope it doesn't interfere again. My computer's really old, so honestly, I'm surprised it works at all some days.
Well, so give me your take on how I run Strahd in a module.
Oh, goodness.
Well, to be fairly honest, because I've only really played this like a few times, I haven't really gotten a feel for how you do it differently every time, but I've remembered several encounters with Strahd that's just like, I don't know, it just feels like he's toying with you, really.
Yeah, exactly.
That is one of the whole points of the module.
Yeah, we've always had like different reasons for being here. I think the one you use the most is us just happenstancing into the village. But you've had us come here for a reason. You've even just stuck us on the carriage once, and we're like, what? We're on the carriage already?
That can be fun, too.
That's how my character was. That's how I was last module. I was on the carriage, and I was like, how did I even get here?
Winter Willow asked if we have Baldur's Gate 3 yet. And
where's that?
I haven't played it, but I've seen it, and Jake has played it.
I don't have it, but a friend of mine has it, and I've played a bit of it.
What's it on?
It's on the
PS5
PlayStation 5
and computer.
Yeah,
PS5. That's why we don't have it.
well,
we don't have a PS5, guys.
Let's see. Carolic says Strahd is such a dynamic character compared to the typical BBEG from D&D at the time. Complex and quite compelling. I totally agree, sir.
Honestly, if you have a hard time getting your gamers into your game and you want to figure out how to get it more interesting, you definitely run this. It'll give you an idea for future role-playing opportunities and stuff, because this really teaches you how to make the bad guy really imposing and really like a oh, I want to get that guy kind of thing.
I completely agree. He is definitely my favorite villain, but this module is also the reason I base a lot of my adventures with having multiple plot lines that the ref can use and mix up. And I believe that you should give extra stuff to the ref so that they have the ability to just add and pick and choose what they want, and then not over detail it. Let the ref detail it is the way I really like to write things. And Carolic agrees, it seems like.
Yeah, this module here makes it feel like it's moving, it's real, it's in life, and it's got a progression that's going forward. If your characters take too much time in a certain area or something, Strahd gets his goal or whatever, you can lose this really easily.
Any thoughts on that, Jake?
Honestly, when it comes to this module, and I never really felt a sense of urgency, but then again, Strahd was wanting something specific, and we were there to accomplish his goals in a way. So I didn't really feel that sense of urgency personally, but that's just because of how Dad ran it that one time.
Yeah. I've actually run it where he already had Irina, and we had to go find her.
Yep.
And then there was one time where she was already turned into a
geez.
vampire, so that happened.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reason why this module is so good is because of this right here, the Fortunes of Ravenloft.
Yeah.
And we'll go over the cards in a second, but I wanted to read this part here. Fortunes of Ravenloft is an imitation ancient gypsy card reading. It does not resemble any real or mystical fortune-telling process. Fortunes of Ravenloft determines Strahd's goals and the placement of important treasures. This card reading can add a great deal of flavor to your game and makes Ravenloft different when you play it again. You must run this card reading before playing this module. If during the course of the adventure, the PCs have their fortunes read at the Gypsy Camp, run this card reading again out loud. Substitute the new results for the old ones. Be sure to write down the results of your card reading so you have them when you need them. Find a regular 52 card deck of playing cards. Remove all 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and Joker cards from the deck. Now you have a set of 4 suits with 8 cards in each. Shuffle the deck. If you don't have a regular deck of cards, you can get the same result by rolling 1d8 to determine the type of card and 1d4 to determine its suit. Roll again if you get the same card in any suit twice. Now, I really like these. And the whole concept of the drawing of cards, they added to when they did 2nd edition, and then again in 5th edition when they brought out the Curse of Strahd module, or the hardback book. And I actually picked up a set of these Taroka cards, which they added to the 2nd edition. I have those too. I actually have 2 sets of those too. But I really like these. These are very nice. And it helps you really set the mood for the entire adventure after the card reading. I really like to run the card reading in the adventure. It doesn't always happen, but it's a lot of fun if it does. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Oh no, I love this aspect because it's almost like it randomizes a lot of stuff. What you're looking for, it could be somewhere completely different than it was before. So for someone like me, who's played the module like 20 times, I'm not going to be able to go like, oh, hey, I know exactly where this thing is that we need to go to get that thing or whatever, because it's different every time.
The mountains look very quest-worthy.
Yes, these mountains look quest-worthy.
It can be so varied that you can play this module 100 times and have it come out different every time.
I can attest for that. Like I said, 20 times here.
And I like to add stuff
Sounds
to
like
it.
a veteran Ravenloft player.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. Your dad is actually with any players that have ever been in Ravenloft, he'll randomly roll a game where we get sucked into Ravenloft again. Same character.
What?
And you're like, wait, did we even leave Ravenloft?
Once the mist has you, it has you.
Yeah, he's really good at that one.
Okay, let's check out this card reading. So what you do is if you take the suit, and the suit will tell you. That's the 4 different ones here.
You can't quit Ravenloft, said Spinetix.
You can't quit Ravenloft. No, you cannot. It goes over the rooms that you could get first, and I like that too. And I like how I'm not going to read them all, but I like how it does this. I'll read the study here. It is a place of tranquility, a harbor for the mighty and powerful. It is a place of wisdom, warmth, and despair. Great secrets are here. So basically, you determine where it is, and then you determine the suit, and then you go down to the suit, and you read that. Like say you got a spade, you would read, "The spade is a dark shadow of evil cast over that place. You fight under its influence here." And I love how they mix that aspect together, and then at the end you get that mixed with one of his goals. And I'll just read the one here for Strahd wants to win the love of Irina Coliana. The darkness loves the light and desires it. Great subtle plans are in motion about you, plans that the dead may find warmth from the living. And when you read these to the players, and set the tone and the mood. It is so awesome in this module. I mean, I don't know how many times I've read that for you.
Right. You don't actually have to. I mean, adding sound effects does like help set the mood too. But with this particular module, it has it all in the words. It really does.
I agree with that. How about you, Jake? Just nod the head there. There is sound involved in this too.
Yeah, my brain is like.
And you are all excited to talk about this adventure.
Right?
Okay, well, that takes us.
But the technical difficulties, and I'm having a bit of.
We'll let it go, sir.
He's having a bit of I don't know what means.
Dodging Strahd is at such an emotional high. I know.
Dude, I remember a time when you made Irina a freaking warrior and she joined us. I remember that one. That was
cool. I think that was the one where her brother got killed early on.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You guys trained her to use the sword, but we'll get into Irina here. I like how they go into describing just the lands of Barovia, and they don't have to give you much. They just give you enough here to basically set the atmosphere of the entire land of Barovia. And I like how it's a perpetual rolling blackness of thunderclouds cast a gray pall over the land. The darker silhouette of Castle Ravenloft looks over the valley from its 1,000-foot pillar of rock. And this has inspired so much art. And I actually have a Castle Ravenloft picture that somebody did, and it's so pretty.
Oh, nice.
And this is castle, and you just can't beat the tone and the atmosphere set by the authors of this module.
I love that. He wants to take it over. Build a stronghold there.
It's not on the risk game board, sir, unless we make a Ravenloft risk game. That would be cool.
Oh, that would be awesome.
We'd add some horror elements to it too. That would be cool.
We'll make it really
You'd have to have like each land would have its different lord and stuff.
Okay.
Yep. All the Dark Lords of Ravenloft. Or if we made it, we do the Dark Lords of the Miasma Vale is what we like to call Ravenloft.
Oh yeah, we call it the Miasma Vale.
I mean, I like the term Ravenloft, but I prefer to see Ravenloft as just this module. I mean, they
Ravenloft is somebody else's word.
Well, that's not just that. To me, when you say Ravenloft, it means this adventure. And when they made it the whole campaign setting, I love that because I love the term and the word. But to me, it's a different place altogether, and that's why I wanted to call it the Miasma Vale. Carolick says, the Hickmans spent over 5 years playtesting this module. Tons of time spent developing the world and getting the tone just right. I did not know that, sir. Thank you. That is awesome. I knew they spent a lot of time on it. I mean, they
had to have. This was definitely a project of love.
Yeah, I agree. And Carolick adds, I believe I read somewhere that they used to run it every Halloween for a few years before it was ever published. Inspired.
That's him. He ran it almost every year. That's him.
I still want to run it every year.
Yeah.
Not this
year.
For my unwilling victim.
Not this year.
Mom said no.
No, I think we came up with a good idea for Halloween, though.
We did, and our little Halloween game is going to be cool. And then next year, what we'll do is we'll play this module, but I'm thinking we might do it over the course of 2 different nights. That would be cool.
We'd have to, because this would take too long for online.
Carolick says, I love it. I do too, man. This whole adventure is just great. And like I said, with the lands of Barovia, they didn't have to give you much. I mean, they just described what the fog is on the land and what creatures dwell, it just roaming around, like you got wargs and bats. And then they gave you a quick little random encounter chart. And it didn't even have to be much. You just roll the 6-sided, you get your wargs, your gypsies, your villagers, your warg wolves, gypsies, and villagers. And when I get villagers, that's an angry mob coming after you to kick you out of their town for whatever reason. Like I said, you have the options. I mean, I love this. This is your this is like your daytime encounters and then your nighttime encounters. And so you have twice as many at night. Oh man, when we get to the graveyard, that's cool.
Dude, I remember us being in the church and getting assaulted by, like, all night. We couldn't sleep at all. You didn't leave us alone at all the whole night.
Oh yeah, you're not supposed to. Let's see. Carrick says Strahd was a used inspiration for the character of Constant Drakenfels and the Castle Drakenfels module. Drakenfels novel for Warhammer Fantasy, another great vampire tale. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with Warhammer Fantasy, but that actually sounds really cool. Anything that this module inspires, I would definitely be willing to check out. Now,
it inspired my fear of Ravenloft.
I can't fight or argue with this way to get the players involved. Basically, it says the PCs start their adventure at an old inn, a few hours march east of the gates of Barovia. That's it. That's your intro. You're at an inn, and then you get this little box text to read to the players. And I will read this, but not much. I'm going to read a lot of stuff for the module, but I'm really going to focus on things I enjoy. So, any other thoughts before I read this intro, guys?
Is this the letter?
This is where they give you the letter. Yes.
You've only used this once or twice, as I recall.
I do love to use it, but I try to do something different every time.
He used to actually have it written on a scroll, which he probably still does, and he would hand it to a player rolled up, saying, "You were handed this," and some random player would read it.
Oh my god!
I'm not kidding. He would.
That's
He just
cool.
had this. It looked like it was on an old piece of parchment. And go, "You're handed this."
Carrick says he highly recommends it. Oh, I love to do handouts. Okay, so you guys ready for me to read this?
Okay.
I'll wait for that. To a party of seasoned adventurers such as yourselves, this is but another dull tavern, another dull town in some nameless province. It is but another passage of time between the challenges of true adventuring, such as the doldrum of existence, waiting for another opportunity. Outside the inn, a fog lies over the town this evening, draping everything in its clammy grasp. The damp cobbled street shines as the light of street lanterns dances across the slick stones. The cold fog chills the bones and shivers the soul of anyone outside. Yet inside these tavern walls, the food is hearty and the ale is warm and frothy. A fire blazes in the hearth, and the tavern is alive with the tumbling voices of country folk. Suddenly a hush falls over the tavern. Even the flagons of ale seem to silence themselves. The tavern door swings open. Framed by the lamplit fog, a form strides into the room. His heavy-booted footfalls and the jingle of his coins shatter the silence. His brightly colored clothes are draped in loose folds about him, and his hat hangs askew, hiding his eyes in shadows. Without hesitation, he walks directly up to your table and stands proudly in a wide stance with folded arms. His accented voice speaks. I have been sent to deliver you this message. If you be creatures of honor, you will come to my master's aid at first light. It is not advisable to travel the Slavic woods at night. He pulls from his tunic a sealed letter, addressed to you all in beautiful flowing script. He drops the letter on the table. Take the west road from here, some 5 hours' march down the Slavic woods. There you will find my master in Barovia. Amid the continued silent stares of the patronage, the gypsy strides to the bar and says to the wary barkeeper, "Fill the glasses, one and all. Their throats are obviously parched." He drops a heavy purse with gold on the bar. With that, he leaves. Although somewhat subdued, the letter is lying before you, dated yesterday. The ink is still not dry, and the parchment is crisp. The seal is of a crest you don't recognize.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh, sorry.
So we can talk about that for a bit. What were you going to say, Jake?
I said, was that Strahd?
No, that was not Strahd. That was an actual.
Dude, that would have been so cool, though, right? Your first encounter with Strahd was the guy who actually hands you the letter.
That was actually, I'm pretty sure they're called the Stubby. That was one of the gypsies for the module. They're really cool. I really enjoy playing the gypsies.
Oh yeah, sometimes the gypsies are on
Sorry,
your
it's just we
side,
did the
and
Strahd
sometimes they're
accent,
against
so I was
you.
like,
It really depends on the mood that I decide to give Madame Eva what side the gypsies are on.
It's true because we've had them be on our side. We've also had them leave us naked in the woods before. So yeah.
Would I do a thing like that?
Yes, you would.
Any other thoughts on
again,
that little intro
Very
before
much
I,
so.
before I read the
guy
letter?
who put Fast Eddie in the freaking courtyard for some random reason.
Because Fast Eddie can be anywhere. Besides, who better to sell you magic devices
Fast
than the
Eddie is
last
Fast
poet we
Eddie.
need?
It is inevitable.
Yeah, how do you sell magic devices to people who had everything stolen from them?
Well, he's Fast Eddie. He's willing to make deals.
It's like magic devices.
That's because Fast Eddie's a demon and he wants your soul.
No, he's not. No, he's not. All right, so you guys ready
I
for
don't
this
believe
letter?
you.
Fast Eddie's just Fast Eddie.
No, I don't believe him. I think he is a demon. That's my theory. Either that or a dragon.
Well, I know what he is.
Of course you do. You made him up.
All right.
That's
So let's
all we
let's
really
get into
needed.
this letter here. And it's hail to thee of might and valor. I, a lowly servant of the township of Barovia, send honor to thee. We plead for thy so desperately needed assistance within our community. The love of my life, Irina Koliana, has been afflicted by an evil so deadly that even the good people of our town cannot protect her. She languishes from her wound, and I would have her saved from this menace. There is much wealth in this community. I offer all that might be had to thee and thy fellows, if thou shalt but answer my desperate plea. Come quickly, for her time is at hand. All that I have shall be thine. Kolian Idrirovich, Burgomaster.
Dude, I love that title. Burgomaster.
Yeah, me too. I like to use it a lot. Now, of course,
It's a lie.
That's a bogus letter sent from Strahd himself.
It's a complete lie, too.
And if you can find the original messenger, and once you reach Barovia and get the original letter, it reads this way: Hail thee of might and valor. I, the Burgomaster of Barovia, send you honor with despair. My adopted daughter, the fair Irina, has been these past nights bitten by a creature calling its race vampire. For over 400 years, he has drained this land of its lifeblood of its people. Now my dear Irina languishes and dies from an unholy wound caused by this vile beast. Yet I fear, too, that the creature has some more cunning plan in mind. He has become too powerful to be fought any longer. And then, of course, it continues on the next page because it's a long letter. So I say to you, give us up for dead and encircle this land with the symbols of good. Let holy men call upon their power, that the evil one may be contained within the walls of weeping Barovia. Leave our sorrows to our graves and save the world from this evil fate of ours. There is much wealth entrapped in this community. Return for your reward after we are all departed for a better life. Kolian Idriovich, Burgomaster.
Yes. This letter is usually found on a dead guy.
Yep. And if I want the players to find it, I usually give clues, but I don't always just right away just give it away. I never do that. They got to find it.
Oh no, never. Just the first weird letter. Plop. There you go. Then you see some weird dead guy. Either that or a zombie attacking you might have this guy.
The first
letter
weird
on
letter with the factually incorrect love of my life. Oh, it's Strahd that loves her.
Yes, it is Strahd that loves her, and that is your.
Actually, he only thinks he loves her.
It depends on your interpretation of it, and your interpretation of what love means to Strahd.
Well, that's true.
So
He's an evil bastard.
that
And
he
needs to
is.
die over and over and over and over and over and over. Oh,
Over and over and over.
yeah.
He is cursed to die forever.
No, he's cursed to come back forever.
I think we bopped out all of us at once there for a second.
It was fine on mine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Maybe it would
kinda
just
weird.
be. It was kind of weird. Anyway, any other thoughts on the letters?
Nope.
All right.
Honestly,
I
they
like how
both
it.
say essentially the same thing.
The letters do essentially say the same thing, except one
think
is
it's-
luring you and one is trying to
Dude,
keep you
one
away.
of them warns it's a vampire. So you can
Yep.
get some vampire stuff against it. You go in there and you're like unknown evil, so we don't have anything. But then you get that second letter and you're like, oh, a vampire. We need like holy water and steaks and all that kind of stuff and garlic and I don't know what else. Not sure most of that stuff works on
Holy
Strahd, though.
symbols galore.
Now,
Yes.
the way the module lays out the lands of Barovia, they tell you about the road, which I think is really cool, and what you could encounter on that. And then it talks about the gates of Barovia, and I really love this because the description of the gates. I'm sure there's an artist representation of this somewhere, but I wasn't able to find one. Jutting from the impenetrable woods on both sides of the road, high stone buttresses loom up gray in the fog. Huge iron gates hang on the stonework. Dew gleams with cold tenacity to the rusted bars. 2 statues of armed guardians silently flank the gate. Their heads missing from their shoulders now lie among the weeds at their feet. They greet you only with silence. I think that is so cool. Right away you get this image of something intense. This land is different from any other. And I love how once you go through the gates, that they close behind you.
Yeah, you've actually had the gates attack us before.
Hey, when the moon strikes me, some weird stuff can happen. All right, what do we got going on in the comments here? Carolick says, so descriptive, sets the scene perfectly. Yes, it does, sir. I'm glad you figured out how to put your icon
It's
up there.
kind of
That's cool.
funny. Doors
Love
attacking
your
me
icon.
has been such a theme in this past year. It's not even funny.
What was that?
I don't know. He said something about a theme.
I said,
Yep.
doors attacking you have been such a
Oh.
theme for this past year. I was playing Final Fantasy V and there was like door mimics. And then I tried it my own campaign. And freaking Super Mario Brothers Wonder comes out a couple days ago. And what's one of the new enemies? A literal door with a mouth.
That's funny. I was playing something with a door that was an enemy too. Okami.
It happens. I mean, it's a
Oh
trope.
my gosh, that
Remember?
too. Oh,
Okami had a door attack you too.
yeah, I remember.
I do like
It's
the
just-
description of these.
Why
these
is that a
doors.
common theme?
Who
Because it's
knows?
unexpected.
Anyway, like I said, I like to call the woods the Slavic woods instead of the Sphalic woods. It just, to me, it sounds better that way. But the module is written with Sphalic or Sphalic or Sva with the V,
Sva.
like an F sound.
I'm Sva. No,
It says towering trees whose tops are lost in heavy gray mist block out all save a death gray light. The tree trunks almost touch. The thick, damp undergrowth presses in on you, making it impossible even to see one another at all times. The woods have the silence of a forgotten grave, yet exude the feeling of an unsounded scream.
Dude, I forgot you couldn't see the tops of the trees.
Yep.
That's so creepy.
Really cool. It talks about the river. I mean, the atmosphere that this module provides is just so awesome.
It's eerie.
Now there's a bit more after the village of Barovia, but I kind of wanted to talk about the village. Now the original module doesn't give you any maps for any of this, but House of Strahd does. In House of Strahd, you get a map for the Burgomaster's Manor and for the church. And I use those in just about every adventure now. It's so nice to get a little extra here and a little extra there. And each reiteration of the adventure adds something that some ref somewhere will want to use. Based on this, I still run this original adventure, but I still use a lot of the stuff that they add to it.
Right. What I think is interesting is you see this huge, massive town, but when you go through it, the way that it's described, you feel like it's so empty and dead. It's very creepy.
I'm right there with you. And Kerlick, he just,
No
I know
one
I already put this
there,
up
but
there, but
yet there
it's
is.
so spot on, so descriptive, sets the scene perfectly, and each one of these does. And they don't do much, they don't say much, they just say enough to let your imagination fill in the blanks. And,
We like to add funny things to it every once in a while.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. And a referee is supposed to do that. Your dungeon master, your game master, whatever you want to call it. That's what they're supposed to do. That's why they're there, not just to run the game. They're there to present to you and help you imagine what is there.
Dude, you've had like women crying in the distance. You've had a crazy person screaming down the streets.
A lot of that's in here.
Yeah, you've had quite a number of things that have just stuck out in this village.
A lot of that I just have in my memory, and I just put it in there at odd intervals.
Yeah, you do.
And Kerlick adds, less is often more when it comes to the imagination. I really agree with that statement. Okay, now in the village of Barovia, I like how it just this description here: tall shapes loom out of the dense fog that surrounds everything. The muddy ground underfoot gives way to slick, wet cobblestones. The tall shapes become recognizable as the dwellings of the village of Barovia. The windows of each house stare out from pools of black nothingness. No sound cuts the silence except for a single mournful sobbing that echoes through the streets from a distance. And yes, sir, let the players fill in the blanks. That's right. You just have to present the image to them, and it'll let their imagination just fly.
Right? Sometimes our gamers will go find out who's crying. Sometimes we'll ignore it. There's even been a time when you said it was a ghost. That was really creepy.
Yep. Well, because there is somebody who is crying in the distance, but the ref can determine who and what it is every time. Kerlick says absolutely. Now, let's see here. It goes into a description of the mercantile, which I rarely use, but it
I was gonna say, I don't think we've ever been there.
I've put it in there. I just don't think a lot of players ever go in there. And it's just a general store. But I really love this description of the Blood on the Vine Tavern.
We always go there.
I love how it says here, Blood on the Vine, but the F has been scratched over with an N. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, and just these little descriptions, like a single shaft of light thrust into the main square, its brightness like a solid pillar in the heavy fog. Above the gaping doorway, a sign hangs precariously askew, proclaiming this place to be Blood on the Vine Tavern. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, then there's the Mad Mary, who is the one actually sobbing, and her voice echoes through the streets. But I've actually changed that up several times. Mad Mary's daughter actually has been taken by Strahd as one of his wives. It's pretty cool. So the limited detail they put in here just sparked my imagination so much.
Right.
And the Burgomaster's Manor House, I mean, not just me, but a lot of people, because when they even redid it, they gave you a map of both the Burgomaster's Manor House and the church. And Danovich at the church, the way they describe him in here is just so cool. I mean, he's just, it looks like he's just been there forever, just praying, and his voice is cracked. And
he's very devout. That man.
Yeah, he's very devout. Yes, he never gives up the prayer, and he's on a constant visual. And then they don't say it in the description, but there is a part in here in the church where they talk about if you're there at night, and I don't want to do that with it, but if you're there at night, a horde of ghosts comes out of the graveyard at midnight and walks up to the castle Ravenloft till dawn.
That's creepy. You never had that happen.
A couple times, but I don't think with you.
No. I 20 times and I've never heard that.
Well,
one.
the thing about it is the party has to be there at midnight for that.
We spent the night at the church, but then again, when we spent the night at the church, we were constantly bombarded, so we missed the whole
in
spectacle.
the church, right? But most people don't try to spend the night in the graveyard.
No, who would?
I
Hey,
had a
guys, let's
party
spend the
do
night
that
at the
once.
graveyard.
I had a party try to spend the night in the graveyard once.
Those people are crazy. Usually we
An
had to stay in
adrenaline
the
junkie,
tavern,
maybe.
the
Hey guys,
church,
someone dare
or
me
the
to sleep in the
burgomaster's house.
graveyard.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Here's your
Whoever-
sleeping bag, bitch. Go to the
Whichever
graveyard.
party leader decided that was done. Let's
Yep.
spend the night in the graveyard. That sounds fun.
You know,
You want us all to die?
back when we played AD&D, a party leader wasn't necessarily that important, and a lot of times a party didn't ever pick one. I mean, I encourage it as a but I generally try to let in this adventure, I usually let the players decide if they have a leader or don't.
Right? Like in our Carnage game, I'm not sure we have.
Honestly, a really good party is just a group of friends who know what they need.
With the carriage coming up to it, it's so awesome.
creepy carriage.
I'll leave that up there for a sec. I love these horses, and it just moves on its own. I mean, there's no driver. I know that all the old Dracula movies and stuff, they usually have Dracula actually driving it. Strahd doesn't do that, and I actually like that. I mean, I like that aspect in Dracula,
That's
but I like
because
the fact,
he's too good to do that.
yeah, Strahd just has the carriage
That's
go by itself. The horses know the way.
I don't even know if the horses are real. Oh, I remember one time you made the horses nightmares. That was scary.
And then there's the gypsy, the pool encampment where the gypsies are. And then they go into Madame Eva's tent, and if you go there and you go that direction, you can. I like to actually throw the camp wherever the players are going sometimes because I like to run that. But I had run this this module so many times, and only the very last time did somebody actually decide to go where the falls are.
Oh yeah, that was us.
I had forgotten that there was actually some sirens or mermaids in the pool. I can't remember which. It was so
You
fun.
said they were mermaids.
Did I?
Yeah, because they didn't kill us.
Like I said, I don't remember if I added those or if they were actually in the module.
I don't know, but Red liked them so much he went back to them.
Yep. Carolix says such an evocative piece of art for the castle. I right there with you, man. I love this module so much. I could talk about it all night. I really could.
Yeah, we probably will.
We'll talk as long as we feel like. Let's just put it that way. And here's the description of the carriage. Once again, you continue down the fog-shrouded road, dead leaves crackling along your track. The road splits in two. The dirt road continues to the northwest, while a wide road leads east into the heart of the dense forest. Patches of cobblestone show up through the east road, telling that it was once a great road. To the right side of the fork stands a large carriage with two horses. Both horses are black as pitch. The horses snort violent puffs of steamy breath into the chill air. The carriage door swings open silently.
Yeah, you have no idea how many times players went, nope.
Oh, yes. I just love to scare the shit out of players with that scene. And by that point, if you don't have them on edge and be ready to be scared, then you haven't done your job as a ref. I mean, there are so many ways when you go through Barovia and entering Barovia and reaching the village to just set the mood and the tone. And you don't even have to do much. You just have to present it the way that, even just if you run it straight the way the module is written, it's enough to put players on edge.
Yeah, Chris has done times when he's added some sound effects like wolves baying or lightning striking, stuff like that.
Sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, but it's not necessary, really. It's just that He does that because he loves it so much and likes the flavor.
I do. Any thoughts on the
flavor.
carriage before we move on to the gates of
The
Ravenloft?
creepy carriage.
I definitely have to read this description of the gates.
I started in the carriage once. Like,
Yeah, I know.
I remember the
right?
last time I was in Ravenloft, Dad had to throw me in a different adventure, and like he was like, "You're in the carriage." It's like, what? How did I end up here? You just ended up there.
You don't
You
know.
woke up in the carriage. Ah, ha, ha, ha.
My favorite thing is I had a dungeon master one time do this. People would ask him a question, and he'd just shrug and go, "I don't know."
I don't know.
And
How'd that happen? I don't know.
how does the ref not know? And I took that to heart, and I've used it ever since. I don't know.
Because the player doesn't really know, nor
Oh.
would they know how to know.
Exactly. And if they think the referee doesn't know, that kind of makes it even scarier sometimes. I don't know.
I don't know.
I often like to run games where if I don't know what's going to happen, then there's no way the players can know.
Unless it's me,
I use the moment
I can read your brain.
sometimes, but sometimes I even surprise you.
I know.
What do you think, Jake, before we talk about the gates here?
I think I said everything I wanted to say for that. I mean,
All
I
right,
woke
cool.
up in the carriage.
All right. So let me read this description for the gates. After passing through the craggy peaks of the Balanox, the road takes a sudden turn to the east, and the startling, awesome presence of Ravenloft itself towers before you. The carriage comes to a stop just in front of twin guardhouses of turreted stone, broken from years of use and exposure. Beyond these, a 50-foot wide precipice gapes between the Balanox cliffs and the walls of Ravenloft, a chasm of dizzying depth that disappears into the fog-shrouded distance far below. The lowered drawbridge of old, shored-up wood beams hangs precariously between you and the arched entrance to the courtyard. The chains of the drawbridge creak in the wind, their rust-eaten iron straining with the weight. From atop the high-strung walls, stone gargoyles seem to stare at you from their hollow sockets and grin hideously. A rotting wooden portcullis green with growth hangs in the entry tunnel. Beyond this, the main doors of Ravenloft stand open. A rich, warm light spills from them into the courtyard. Torches flutter sadly in sconces on both sides of the open doors. I love how it just ends there. It doesn't have to add anything else. And yeah,
Dude,
my players have fallen for the green slime.
green slime is the only monster there?
That is the only monster there. I've added so many things. And
Those
the bridge
gargoyles that
itself.
attacked us. We've had to rescue people falling off the bridge. I don't know how many times.
The
to the
bridge
point that a
itself
lot of our
is-
gamers don't even like bridges.
Yeah, the bridge itself is a deadly encounter, and it describes that in the module. It's like a 5% chance crossing cross-board breaking every time you walk across it.
I think it's more because like
Oh,
never fails. But
sometimes
there's one player we have to figure out how to rescue before they die to death.
Before they die to death. I like that.
They will die to death.
And just the gates alone.
I will kill you so hard that you will die to death.
Players just go like, what is up with these gates, man? Let's see here. There is, I know this picture comes up in the module, but I wanted to have it ready to go so that I could show you a better look of it. These gargoyles are just awesome.
Those kind of look like the ones from Notre Dame.
And the artist for this module was Clyde Caldwell. He did the cover, and I'm pretty sure he did all the pictures inside. He is an awesome artist, and there may be some that we catch that weren't by him, but I'm pretty sure this was his baby. And I bet
You know that, right?
What's that?
I said those gargoyles look kind of like the ones on Notre Dame.
Yes, I know. I'm sure that was the mood that he was going for. You got your Castle Ravenloft encounters. And like I said, I'm not gonna read everything, but just things that stand out to me. Some of the areas in it that need.
Oh, you gotta do the piano.
Oh, that would be the dining room on the main floor.
Yes. The whole dining room.
Now, I like how in this hallway here, the guest hall, you get two different descriptions. One is torchlight flutters against the walls of this vaulted hall. To the east, a dark and forbidding hallway runs into darkness. Beside that opening, a suit of armor, oiled and glistening, stands at attention in a shallow alcove. To the west, large double doors hang slightly open, a steady bright light escaping through the opening. Swells of organ music come from behind the doors, spilling their melody of power and defeat into the hall. Now, if they've already been there, there's a second description that you could read, and that's the hallway lies in darkness. Double doors open to the west, to the east. A single arch corridor of stone masonry is lit by light from the circular stairs now visible some 20 feet away. The light is coming from up the staircase. The staircase also descends into a terrible darkness. Standing beside the archway to the stairs, a set of armor stands in a shallow alcove, a dark shadow falling across its faceplate. Now, I like the fact that they took the time to give you a second description if you've already been there. I thought that was really cool.
You've had Strahd playing this piano before.
I had Strahd playing the piano, the organ. I've also had him be in the suit of armor once before.
Ooh, that's creepy.
Well, he can go gaseous and go right into it.
No, I get you. I get you.
And then leave it again the same way. Anyway, yeah. You look at the map
The dining
myself.
hall.
Let me look at the map myself and see where what number the dining hall is. Like I said, I used to have it memorized, but it's my memory is not what it used to be. Let me see here.
Are you an old man?
You know, the funny thing about the dining hall is the last time I was...
What happened here? Well, that's my mom, and I apologize for that. Okay, so the dining hall is K10. That's what I thought, but I just wanted to double check. Yep, that's a lot. That's a lot of.
Hey, Max, you probably should have muted himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
I
closed
did
my
know
door
it.
so there wasn't much of an echo.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, so yeah, the dining hall's here. That's why I missed it. It's because the numbering is up here, and then it's on the next page. This is a magnificent 40-foot square room, brilliantly lit by 3 massive crystal chandeliers. Pillars of stone stand against dull white marble walls supporting the ceiling. In the center of the room, a large, heavy table stands covered with a fine white satin cloth. The table is laden with delectable foods of every type: roasted beef basted in a savory sauce, roots and herbs of every taste, and sweet fruits and vegetables. Places are set for each of you with fine, delicate china and silver. At each place, there is a crystal goblet filled with an amber liquid whose delicate fragrance tantalizes your senses. At the center of the far west wall, between floor-to-ceiling like mirrors, stands a massive organ. Its pipes blare out a thunderous melody that offers in its tone greatness and despair. Seated before the keys, its back toward you, a single caped figure pounds the keys in raptured ecstasy. The figure suddenly stops, and a deep silence falls over the dining hall. The figure slowly turns towards you. Good evening. No, just kidding. Now, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, here it is. It's right on the next page of him pounding on the keys. I love this picture.
So much so that 9 times out of 10, it's actually Strahd playing the organ in this scene.
If anybody in the chat wants us to read a room, let me know, and I will read it as we go over it. So we're just kind of covering the basis in this module and some of the things that I really love really love to play out. But anyway, that's why I call these reviews.
The funny thing about the dining hall.
What about it?
Dude, your dad has had weird things.
So the last time we played this module. Oh, no. Dad didn't have anything weird happen with the food, but everyone was like so on edge about the food for some weird reason. I mean, everyone was already spooked, but the reason why my character wasn't spooked was because he was thrown in later and wasn't kind of like inducted into the creepy, oh no, everything's scary here. And it's just like, guys, the food isn't cursed. I am hungry.
That's because you never played the part. You never played this where the food turned into like rotten food and maggots while you were eating it.
Well, like I said, you just have to set the mood.
Yeah, Dad
And then the
didn't do that
players-
last time.
You
No,
play
because he doesn't do it every time.
you let
I
the
told you,
players
he does
just
something
play off.
different with the food every time. He's even actually had something good.
You're like
happen
sitting there,
when he ate the
like
food.
you were playing your Tiger. You're playing your OC, and like you're sitting there going, Jake, stop, don't do that. Don't eat the food. It's like, it's not cursed. I'm hungry.
I do plan on taking a look at the module Castle Amber, which is so Ravenloft before Ravenloft was a thing. And I blame that one for the dinner table scene because it does one of those too. And there are various things that can happen in that adventure, and I use that in this scene.
Right? So yeah, you gotta watch out with this scene because your dad does something with the dining room scene almost every time. And like I said, we actually had there was one time when only one player would eat the food. Your dad gave him like a permanent +1 to one of his ability scores. It was freaking vitality, I think it was. And we're like, "Aw."
Anyway, yeah, the dining room doesn't actually have much. What's up? What
I
you
think
laughing
Max
about?
is on a delay.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay. That may be. I'm going, hey, why is he
Yeah,
laughing?
I'm on a delay. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. This is life. And I usually do something if the players get to the chapel. I usually do something here, so I'm going to read this description too. Dim-colored light filters through broken and boarded-up stained glass windows, illuminating the ancient chapel of Ravenloft. Pews and benches lie about the floor in jumbled disarray, coated with centuries of dust. Beyond the debris, lit by a single piercing shaft of light, an altar stands upon the platform. The light falls directly on a small statue. A figure is draped over the altar. The room seems as though nothing has disturbed it in centuries, that nothing ever could.
Right? I feel like this is one of the few safe places in the castle.
It is, and I have made it unsafe many times.
No, you actually made it. We've slept in the chapel before.
Oh yeah, but it's supposed to be a chapel, so I don't. It's my opinion that Strahd wouldn't frequent this room very often.
Well, no, he doesn't believe in the chapel anymore.
Nope. And it's one of those rooms where one of the objects that is placed throughout this module could be. Plus, the icon of Ravenloft is there also, which is a really cool magic device people can pick up. Tremendous lawful good power, +4 bonus to any undead and heals.
Nobody plays lawful good.
It can heal like once per day. It's pretty cool. We just use good.
I know.
Stupid.
The whole law and chaos aspect of things, I like for original D&D, but when you're actually role playing, it doesn't really work out sometimes for me. Carolick says he's got to run. Enjoyed hanging out with you fine folks a bit. It was great to revisit this module. Thanks for doing it. Talk soon. You're welcome, sir. We'll catch you later. If you're not already gone, take it easy, bud. Yeah, he's been showing up at the Discord a lot, and I invited him when I saw that we had a similar taste in music, and him and I have been talking back and forth a lot of music lately. It's been pretty cool.
Cool.
Let's see. We got the alcoves of the chapel. Any other thoughts on the chapel, guys?
Continue. We still have the whole catacombs.
Oh yeah, but
No.
there's this one I wanted to do. Let me see if I can set the tone for this one a little bit.
See, that's what I'm saying. This module seems a bit too long to try to run it online in one game session at least.
Oh yeah. I would definitely want to do this in maybe 3 sessions or maybe a whole week. Maybe throughout the whole month of October. That might be cool. Every Saturday or something, or every Monday, something like that. We'll
right. Otherwise, we'll never get through it.
Yeah. Anyway, massive stairs, guys. Yes. Massive stairs rise to a landing 20 feet wide by 40 feet long. Stone arches support a ceiling covered with frescoes 20 feet overhead. The frescoes' faded lines depict the stone mountain atop which Ravenloft stands, being taken by armored forces on horseback. The faces of characters in the fresco are scratched beyond recognition. Dust floats in the air here, making it difficult to see details. There is a staircase on each side of the 20-foot wide south wall. There are two alcoves between the staircases. Light filtering through the dust shows two suits of armor covered with dark stains, one standing in each alcove. Each suit of armor holds a mace, designed like a curved dragon head. Engraved words on the arches above the alcoves are scratched out. Now, the reason I'm playing the heartbeat here is because this is where you can start hearing it in the module. The module itself has a heartbeat, the castle. And if you go on these spires,
It's like the creepiest thing in the module.
and the Guardian of Sorrow, here it is right here. Tower Hall, a mosaic floor stretches about in the darkness. A vast empty tower rises above you. You cannot see more than a few yards up, yet you feel the tower's cold expanse pressing down on you. A spiral staircase rises slowly into the darkness, circling the open shaft. In the center of the room, another set of stairs leads down. And that's all you get. But at the top of this is the Guardian of Sorrow. The tower includes an air. Its heart hangs atop of the tower. 10 halberds mounted on the tower walls, and basically it says only blows to the pulsing heart overhead can damage the guardian. Yet he'll attack you with all these pole arms. Let me see here. At they awaken the Guardian of Sorrow, you can read this one. As you step onto the huge staircase, a reddish light flares to life high overhead, settling into a dull, pulsing red glow. You now see the full immensity of this tower. A spiral staircase circles up the tower's full height of 240 feet. At the dome pinnacle of the hollow tower, a pulsing red glass heart beats with light. The 10-foot wide stairs that circle up the tower end at a door far overhead. The hollow tower is about 60 feet diameter and at its base, narrowing towards the top. Solid boulders and arrows are strewn across the floor. I just love this. I mean,
It's a giant heart that attacks you.
the
It's
castle
creepy,
itself has a heart, and I wish that they had some artwork for this.
right? It would be a giant heart attacking you with things.
I'll get rid of the heartbeat. I think we've had enough of that.
Oh, thank goodness.
Too much heartbeat. We killed the heart.
We killed the heart. When you go into some of the other levels, though, you get the court of the count up on the second floor, and the audience hall here it's really cool. All these descriptions, King's Worship Place, where you get attacked by the Strahd zombies. Now, what I said before, these Strahd zombies, it's pretty cool. I mean, if you cut part of them off, they stay alive and continue to attack you. And they are an awesome undead monster that Strahd created. And then obviously the accountant. I love this. I've played this guy up so many times. Dusty scrolls and tomes line the walls of this room that are scattered across the floor. In the center of all this clutter stands a huge accountant's desk. A figure crouches atop a tall stool, scratching a seemingly endless scroll of paper with a dry quill pen. A rope hangs next to this creature from a hole in the ceiling. I love this, man. And he can actually, if he pulls the rope, he can summon monsters and crap to help him. I'm pretty sure he can summon the specters in the other room. I mean, this module,
This dude gives like 0 Fs, really.
Yeah, they pack so much into this. I've actually had this guy join the party. I've had him hate the party and attack them. I've had him do nothing, which is even scarier sometimes. I've had him completely ignore the party.
That's generally what he does, is completely ignore us.
So many little nuances that you could do in these rooms. There's like this secret trap door and a trap shaft that Strahd can use to travel back and forth. If the party can find it, they can actually use this elevator shaft that has a lift. But they can also wake up in a room if they fail their resistance roll versus gas. Very cool. I don't know why that came up.
Because it can.
Because it can, yeah. You got your rooms of weeping with the dining hall and the study. A lot of these rooms are just so cool. And then you got your false treasury. I love this. I mean, you think you find the treasury, but there's actually a bigger one hidden behind it. Oh, let's see here. Going through this. I love this scene where you find her portrait. And you can actually get Irina standing next to it. Get the portrait of Strahd's original, the gal he fell in love with that married his brother. And then you've got Irina standing next to it. And I thought this was such a cool picture that Clyde Caldwell did. Just to add so much to this adventure. And it inspired me so much. And the fact that she had a sword, it inspired me to make her a warrior in several adventures.
I just discovered that I like sun-kissed orange with root beer. I put root beer in here, and it tastes really good.
What?
Root beer orange? That might be good. Never thought
It is. I put the root beer together with the orange. It tastes really good. It's kind of like a creamsicle now.
Any thoughts on Irina while we were taking a look at her portrait there? Let me put it back up.
Honestly, it falls into, I think, the Bram Stoker version of Dracula. Like, not the book, but the movie.
Yeah.
Where the reason why Dracula was going after the girl was because she had a stark resemblance to his love.
Well, he believes she was the reincarnation of her.
Yeah, this was kind of inspired by that too.
And Strahd believes that in this module, that Irina is the reincarnation of the original gal, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head because I don't ever really use that character much. But yeah, we'll go over that when we get to.
Haven't we seen her ghost before?
Yeah, you can see her ghost. Then there's the spires of Ravenloft, and these towers, and they're so all over the place. You've got like 4 or 5 different towers.
Right, figuring out the map was crazy.
And the map, I will try to show the maps here in a bit, but they're definitely in the. They were in the intro, and so I'll play it at the end, so that the maps are there. They'll be a part of the adventure, so people can check it out. But you've got then you go downstairs, and you've got the larders of ill omen. And you can actually go into a room, and there's a dude just standing in here. He says he's a servant of Strahd named Cyrus Bellevue, which is probably.
I remember running into this dude.
Well, it's probably a hint at the Bellevue Sanitarium in New York. I think that's where that was, anyway. He's just a servant. And the description here has it that this hall stands in deadly silence. The low ceiling sags from heavy beams. A fog clings to the floor in thick patches, obscuring everything less than 3 feet above the floor. A giant shadow is cast across the ceiling as a dark figure shuffles purposely down the corridor towards you. And then he turns out just to be this regular dude. But he is quite crazy.
Running into this dude.
Yep, you guys generally don't run into him. And there's a butler. Cyrus is the butler, but they have his quarters.
God has a butler.
Yes, he does.
He
I don't
butters.
into that guy either.
Well, generally, a lot of times you guys don't go down to the larders of ill omen. And, it's a lot of people miss this part of the module all the time. And one of my favorite monsters is down in here, the Shadow Demon. And you can just walk into this room, and the shadowy room is in perfect order. An old cot stands to one side, its heavy blanket made taut and straight. A great table stands with its chair, inkwell and quill lying carefully in place. Lances and swords are carefully hung on the walls. And then it just says, that's your description. And then in the shadows, there's a shadow demon living in this room. I mean, look at this. This guy has. I mean, I know they've weakened him out here with 35 hit points, but it's for the adventure as written. But I have played this monster a lot of times, but I don't think I've ever run him with you in the group.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't remember this either.
And Spinetick says, "Mr. Belvedere." Yes, sir. That would be the butler. The butler did it. Oh.
Well, he didn't do anything in our modules.
No, that's a lot. Like I said, a lot of times you guys don't go to the larders. You go straight down to the dungeon and catacomb.
Or we go up to the spires.
Or you go up to the spires, right. A lot of people miss the larders. This one here, the dungeon hall. Stairs descend into black, still water that fills an arched hallway before you. The water's surface is like dark mirrored glass, disturbed occasionally by the thwick of a drop falling from the ceiling. 20 feet down the hallway, arched doorways lead downward 2 feet from each side of the hallway. In each arched doorway, an iron door stands closed and partially submerged. All is still except for a weak cry for help coming through the south door. I really love this scene right here. And what do you guys remember this one? It's right before you get to explore the dungeons.
Not sure. Like I said, I've been through this thing so many times. I don't remember where we've been and where we haven't been. I know there's places that we've been like a million times and places we've been like maybe once. And those larders, apparently we've never been there because I don't remember any of those at all. And everything's frozen. What happened?
Ward has showed up with food.
Oh, yum.
And so I'm going to have him bring it into you. You might want to mute your mic, and I'll go over a little bit here as that happens. Okay, so while that's happening, let me this door get that set up. So we're probably going to have to break it here soon so we can eat, but I didn't really want to wrap this up so soon. But anyway, here's the picture of that scene in the hallway. You'll have to come down as soon as we're done live streaming here, Jake. But this is that part where you're going through the water and zombies come up out of the water. It's an intense scene. And like I said, I could talk about this module all night. And we'll I think Tiger said it's almost an hour and a half in. So I'm gonna wrap this up here. She's muted herself, so I can't unmute her.
Sorry.
What I wanted to give our final thoughts on the adventure. Like I said, I could talk about this module for days.
My final thoughts are this module is well worth owning. If you like gothic horror, if you like vampires, if you like running games, this particular module here is definitely well worth being in your repertoire for sure, 100%.
I did want to cover the catacombs real quick. Buried deep beneath the Ravenloft. Excuse you, sir.
Isn't there like 100 rooms in there?
There's 80 something. If I remember right, 86.
Yeah, it's pretty doggone close to 100.
Buried deep beneath the keep of Ravenloft, this arched ceiling sags over squat crypts, forming these catacombs. A thick fog cleaves to the floor at knee height. Cobwebs hang limp in the musty air. Thick dust has settled over everything, filling the crypt's engravings, making it difficult to make out the names of those buried here. The black ceiling is moving. It's all bats on the ceiling, but the entrance to Strahd's tomb, I'm not going to give it away because people want to play this module. And they want to be surprised. But Crypt 32 has this section where it has these alcoves, and written on the alcoves it says, "Pass not these portals, ye foolish mortals." And I really dig that. And then you've got all this artwork from.
Dude, every crypt has words on it, and it reminds me of the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland.
And
some of them are funny.
I wanted to cover the new monsters they put in here. They got the Brovian villagers, and gypsies, and then they have Strahd zombies, and the description here. They are turned as mummies. And, well, we do things by a hit degree, but this so awesome how each part of the zombie can come off and attack you. And then again, I'll give a quick shot of these maps, because the inside cover of this module is all
Really nice
maps.
maps.
And it basically has 2 covers with all these maps on the interior of the cover, and then it ends with the back cover and has the intro, and I'll play that here as we sign off. So, anything else to add there, Tiger? I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's all right. I think my thing all glitched up anyways. I don't think that's anything I said anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
what about
we're having a lot of technical difficulties this time.
Yeah,
That was my first one, so meh.
I think we've had a lot of fun. So,
A lone figure stands
We're gonna end it with
silhouetted
this,
against
guys.
the ancient walls of Castle
pause
Raven.
this real quick while we say goodnight, and then I will play this and stop the live stream. So, thanks for everybody showing up in the chat. Appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed this review of my favorite module, and I might talk about it again someday. There's plenty to talk about here. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you again.
Under raging storm clouds, a lone figure stands silhouetted against the ancient walls of Castle Ravenloft. Count Strahd von Zarovich stares down a sheer cliff at the village below. A cold, bitter wind spins dead leaves about him, billowing his cape in the darkness. Lightning splits the clouds overhead, casting stark white light across him. Strahd turns to the sky, revealing the angular muscles of his face and hands. He has a look of power and of madness. His once handsome face is contorted by a tragedy darker than the night itself. Rumbling thunder pounds the castle spires. The wind's howling increases as Strahd turns his gaze back to the village. Far below, yet not beyond his keen eyesight, a party of adventurers has just entered his domain. Strahd's face forms a twisted smile as his dark plan unfolds. He knew they were coming, and he knows why they came, all according to his plan. He, the master of Ravenloft, will attend to them. Another lightning flash rips through the darkness, its thunder echoing through the castle's towers. But Strahd is gone. Only the howling of the wind, or perhaps a lone wolf, fills the midnight air. The master of Ravenloft is having guests for dinner, and you are invited.
I am the ancient. My beginnings are lost in the darkness of the past. I am not dead, nor am I alive. I am undead forever.
Pass not these portals, ye foolish mortals.